Welcome to the BBC.
Bring me your balls.
I feel like it was like a bad one-night stand.
No, we're like, I'm gonna take on the world.
Lovely Las Vegas, where you can bring a hooker to your room, but you can't bleach an asshole.
Sometimes I think cats.
Working for Luba is like working for Hitler with tits.
Whoa.
Hello, listeners, and welcome back to another week of the BBC podcast. That is the Big Black We Mean Between Both Cheeks podcast. It's Becca, and I'm here with Luba today.
And we're at 10,000 downloads, so thank you so much, everyone.
Yeah, oh my God, we can't believe it.
So crazy. So it's just an idea that Jake came up with on the plane, 3 years ago?
Almost 4 now, I guess.
Almost 4 years ago. And here we are.
Here we are.
So today's topic, I guess there's been a lot of people asking on Facebook groups about software and what software do you pick and what do you use and how do you find the right one? So we're going to dive in and tell you exactly how to do that.
Yes, we are. And if you haven't listened to last week's episode, make sure you go and catch up on that so you get the full scoop about what's going on in our life. That's a really popular episode right now. But today we will carry on. And how and when do you know that it's time to get a software?
There are so many options now with software. When I started my business, I started with a appointment book and software at the same time because I didn't trust the software. So I duplicated all of the work. I was so scared. I'm trying to think my best advice for getting software is do a lot of homework, make a spreadsheet or a table, like whether you do it on your computer, or your iPad, or just have it done, paper and pen. You need to make sure that it ticks all of your boxes. The other thing that I would recommend is finding out if there's a contract with it. Like if you sign on, do you have to sign on for 3 years? I would highly recommend contacting a bookkeeper or an accountant, asking what specific reports you need specifically every quarter at the end of each month, and make sure that you go back to the software company and ask if those reports are available. Taxes are a big one. So depending where you are, which state or province you're in, you're going to have to remit a sales tax that you collect. And listen, I've had a software in the past where it wasn't clear and simple, and it took a lot of time in the long run to get what I needed when I probably could have got it someplace else. Those are just a couple things that I'm thinking off the top of my head. Oh, and go talk to other businesses. I found my first software at a waxing salon that I used to go to as a customer. And I would just ask the receptionist questions. And that's how I got introduced to that brand and move forward with them. So if it was working for them and they had the same type of model that I was going to do, it had to work for me.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I would say too. In the Facebook groups, when I see people posting and asking about software, the best thing you can do, because look, you can ask the sales team of that software all your questions about the reports and the taxes and all the check boxes that you need it to tick. And they're going to say, yes, 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 we can do it all and fart rainbows. But as we have experienced, sometimes once you get into the software, maybe that sales team doesn't use the product often enough to actually know the ins and outs of it and its full capabilities. Because look, no software is perfect. So ask somebody else, hey, do you use this software? What do you like about it? What do you not like about it? And then, compare and contrast from there to see, because that's going to be your best experience. Because unfortunately, you don't know what a software is really like until you're under the hood using it. And it's really hard to get access to that information unless you're talking to someone who's using it.
And to switch a software is an absolute nightmare. It is a lot of work, a lot of hours. Nothing will look the same that it did before, as far as like running reports from previous, like it will be messy. It will not be clean. So if you do your homework up front and stick with something for a long time, it is far better than flipping.
Yeah.
And Becca, I love what you said about, you can ask all the questions and they can fart rainbows, because that's what happened to me.
Yeah.
The
I know.
second round.
It's happened.
Is that why you said it?
Times actually. I'm not going to name names because we've had good experiences once we got it sorted out, but there's been 2 softwares in my 4 years that, said it could do something, and then you get in there and it's like, hey, wait, it doesn't do this. So
Yeah.
You have to be careful with how much you're trusting a sales rep. If you can get to an account manager or a customer service rep, that would be better. If you can't find somebody else who's using that software, that's the best.
Yeah. I mean, I would love to, we always, say collaborate over competition, right? So, find somewhere, volunteer your time to be a receptionist for the weekend and see how the system works. Like, that's the biggest part. And, Becca nailed it right on the head when she said, don't trust a salesperson, because that's who they are. That's who is presenting the program to you. And most likely it's going to go in a quota or a commission or something, and they just want to make the sale. I can honestly say, when I moved over to the second software, I was very clear in my questions of, I have 2 businesses in 2 different countries. Are you going to be able to deal with 2 separate currencies? Just last week, I logged into the Vegas database. Now we don't even have, I've got the Vancouver one still open for reporting and taxes and all of that, but we don't use it. I logged into Vegas. I looked at the dashboard and everything said Canadian dollars. There's a big C by everything, randomly.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it was US for quite some time. We did get it fixed.
So I called and I was like, why is this happening? And they're like, oh, well, it looks as though you have 2 businesses in 2 countries. Yeah, we've had that conversation. A big piece of advice I would offer is record the conversation with the salesperson.
Yeah, with anything, actually, customer service, your bank, anything. When you're on hold and it says, we're recording this conversation for quality and training, you record it too.
Yeah.
I started doing that and I've had to use it. Like, hey, this is what someone on your team said. Maybe they were misinformed, but that's why I did what I did. So you need to hold up your end of the bargain here.
Yeah. And whether that's, they give you some sort of credit towards, future months, but you've got something, it's not just he said, she said, you've got your facts. These are the most important things. And whether they answer them incorrectly or falsely and sold you something that, you expected to get or didn't get, then you've got some backup. But I would make a list of your top 10 things that are very important. What do you call it when there's with your absolutes, what those are. These are the top 5 things that I absolutely have. And make sure you talk to different software companies. Don't just decide one is just going to work for you because, your girlfriend down the street says it's really good.
Yeah, still date around and see and talk to other people. You don't want to go on one first date and then get married.
Yeah. And if you're a solopreneur, you look at options for solopreneurs. I know a lot of software companies, they had the big price tag and an initiation fee and all that. That's what I dealt with from day one. But now, the business is changing. So they're adapting to that too, where they've got, maybe no sign up fee, a lower entry rate, or maybe a trial for 3 to 6 months. So take a look at everything. Don't get pregnant with something you can't get out of.
Yeah. Well, some things I would say are important to look for as well, especially if you're in the beauty industry, is something, and especially if you're a solopreneur, something that can automatically send your consultation forms or that it sends it with a click of a button, something that automatically confirms your appointments, and maybe something that can automatically send certain emails or text messages about your cancellation policies and your different policies, and just marketing emails too. That's going to take a big weight off of your shoulder of texting clients. I don't know about you, I can barely keep up with my regular texts, let alone if I was texting customers.
I'm just checking.
How many unread texts do you have, Luba?
199 right now.
There you go. Could you imagine if she also had to say, you know, hey girlie, this is your 24-hour reminder. We have an appointment tomorrow at 1:00 or whatever. That's, especially if you're solo, that's a lot of work on top of all the other hats you have to wear. And that's something I see online a lot, people asking about, is automation. And, you know, we have computers and technology and AI now. Use it to your advantage.
Yeah, for sure. I think another mistake that is out there, actually, my skincare clinic just switched over to these guys, and as soon as I saw that I needed to respond to this and found out who they were using, I was like, oh my God. Don't decide to go with a software because your gym or your yoga studio uses it. Please find your industry people. Like we said, be friends, start talking to other people. Your yoga studio gym is not the same program that you are going to need in a salon at all.
It can work, but is it the best? No.
Yeah, I was very sad with that. I was like, that's going to be a tough pill for them to swallow when they figure out it's not going to be the best for their business, unless this company has made changes during that time.
Maybe. And one thing with that too is, we don't just mean like the functionality of how the system is set up, but if you ever need to call that company and get technical support or strategy advice with that software, they might not understand your industry. One of the softwares that we've used that was really great because it was designed for the beauty industry, when I would call and ask them questions, they could give real world examples of other hair salons that, you know, have something set up this way, and a nail salon that does it this way, and then another waxing spa that does it this way. And you could see that they understood the niche parts of the industry, and they could give advice and strategy based on that. Whereas somebody promoting gym memberships and yoga, although it is still in the wellness space, they might not understand the culture of the beauty industry on the skin side.
And then I think with today's day too, with remote people working remote and people outsourcing things, is find out if there is a local call center in North America.
Ooh, that's gonna ruffle some feathers. Why?
Why? Did you ask why?
Yeah, why?
So the first software company that we had, they were on a very different time zone and different holidays, which impacted my business greatly. The second one that we switched over to, they started to build the North America business as they grew. And it wasn't even a language barrier, it was an accent barrier with a lot of the receptionists. And then the time difference where they just didn't have anyone dedicated to, and it's really like, you just feel so far removed when you have to deal with an issue happening at that moment. Like you feel very stuck in quicksand. Yeah,
that's a good point with the time zones, actually, because it'll take like a day between every query by the time they answer it, if they're asleep when you're awake.
Yeah. So that's our advice. It'd be cool to find out what you guys are using and what you love and what you hate. And if you have any recommendations, we would love to hear it at Comments Between Both Cheeks, or you can also DM us or maybe write a little message after we post this. And then we're more than happy to share that information on the Facebook groups when people ask us.
Yeah, so if you're from a Facebook group, hello and welcome to the Between Both Cheeks podcast. Thank you for listening. And if you are an OG listener, one of the 10,000 people, which is so crazy to say, I don't know any of my family or friends who listen, so it's really cool that, you know, strangers care about what we have to say. It's surreal. If you're one of the OGs, yeah. Like crazy.
My kinesiologist said today at my appointment, do you have a podcast? So yeah, none of my friends or anyone I know is listening.
I know. It's like, yeah, we do. And it's like kind of popular, which is really nice.
So wild. So thank you for your support. If you are new from a Facebook group, please like, comment, subscribe, and do all of the things.
Yes. And if you're an OG, whether you're new or not, please write us a review. That's what really helps our show out. I was just looking at our statistics the other day, and we need more reviews. And I know you guys have something to say because you DM it to us, but go ahead and write a review. You can do that on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify. They both have review options. But no matter where you listen, make sure you are subscribed so you get every new episode. And if you want to follow us on YouTube and see the video versions, we're doing that again. They're not edited, but they're going up so you can see the faces to the names. That is on the YouTube channel Bright Skincare. And if you don't understand any of the things I just said, just go to betweenbothcheeks.buzzsprout.com.
Thanks for listening.
Good night.